In Ramat Gan, just outside Tel Aviv, the atmosphere is tense but purposeful. At the Sheba Medical Center, Israel's largest hospital, teams of doctors, trauma specialists and psychologists move through corridors that have been meticulously prepared. Their task is as monumental as it is emotional: to receive the hostages who, after 2 years in captivity inside Gaza, may finally be coming home. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit here on this Friday afternoon has drawn the full attention of the nation. Cameras follow him closely as he walks through the sterile hallways, his expression stern, his gestures deliberate. He stops to greet medical teams, shakes hands with trauma specialists, and pauses at briefing stations. At one checkpoint, he leans forward to listen as a senior doctor explains the hospital's readiness plan for the hostages who could arrive at any moment. This is not a ceremonial tour. The Prime Minister's presence at Sheba sends a clear message to the Israeli public and to the world. The country is preparing for the most sensitive and emotional moment since the beginning of the Gaza war. The return of the hostages, those who survived and those who did not, will mark both a national reckoning and a fragile step toward closure. Under the terms of the ceasefire deal pushed forward by US President Donald Trump, Hamas has until noon on Monday to hand over the 47 remaining Israeli hostages, both living and deceased, from the 251 people abducted during the October 7th attack 2 years ago. The deal, one of the most ambitious diplomatic efforts since the war began, has been described by Trump himself as the hardest peace I've ever made. For Israelis, that number, 251, carries an unbearable weight. It represents 2 years of agony, of sleepless nights, of families holding on to fading hope. The victims came from all walks of life: the elderly, teenagers, soldiers, foreign workers. The youngest hostage was only 9 months old when he was taken, the oldest in her 80s. The memory of that Black Saturday, October 7th, still casts a long shadow. More than 1,200 people were killed in Israel that day, the deadliest single assault in the country's history. Entire communities were wiped out. The footage that emerged from that morning, militants storming through kibbutzim, people hiding in safe rooms, frantic calls for help, shocked the world and united a fractured Israeli society around one word: return. Bring them home. 2 years later, the war has exacted an immense toll. Gaza has been reduced to rubble. Over 67,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to local authorities. Entire neighborhoods lie in ruins. Hospitals barely function, and nearly 90% of the population has been displaced. Yet amid this devastation, a fragile truce has taken hold, and with it, a sliver of hope. At Sheba Medical Center, the preparations are precise, almost ritualistic. Every hospital bed has been labelled, every stretcher disinfected, every trauma bay supplied with oxygen, saline and emergency kits. Medical teams rehearse the intake process again and again: physical examination, triage, psychological assessment, family notification. They have done this before, during previous releases, but this time the stakes are higher. This time, they must be ready to receive not just survivors, but also bodies. The hospital's walls are lined with photographs of the hostages, smiling portraits taken before their abduction. Beneath each picture, handwritten notes from relatives and volunteers: waiting for you, don't give up, come home. These corridors, once filled with ordinary patients, now feel like the front line of a nation's collective trauma. The government press office released 37 seconds of footage showing Netanyahu's visit. The video has no sound, only the imagery of the Prime Minister walking briskly past white curtains and medical equipment. Behind him trail the Defense Minister, health officials and security aides. They stop at a newly built wing marked Hostage Reception Unit. Here, doctors explain the protocols: DNA testing for identification, immediate blood work, debriefing, and rapid psychological screening. Every second, every motion is choreographed. Outside the hospital, reporters gather behind barricades. There are no official statements, no press questions allowed, only a short message from Netanyahu's office. The Prime Minister visited Sheba Medical Center to ensure that all systems are prepared for the return of our people. The phrasing is deliberate. The government wants to project control, confidence and readiness, even as anxiety builds across the country. For the families of hostages, this moment is almost unbearable. Many of them have lived for months in a protest camp outside the Knesset, demanding transparency, accountability, and above all, action. Their pressure, say analysts, is what kept the government negotiating even when talks seemed doomed. When news broke of Netanyahu's hospital visit, family chat groups erupted. Some dared to hope this was a sign that the exchange was truly happening. Others warned against false optimism, reminding one another of previous collapses and broken promises. Inside Sheba, Dr. Eyal Zimlichman, the hospital's chief medical officer, has been overseeing preparations. In a recent interview, he said, "We are ready for every scenario, physical trauma, dehydration, infection, shock, but we are also ready for something deeper, psychological healing. Some of these people have been underground for 2 years. They need sunlight, safety, and trust before they need medicine. Each room has been equipped with soft lighting and minimal noise. The goal is to create calm, a sharp contrast to the chaos from which the hostages are emerging. Medical volunteers, psychologists, and even spiritual counselors have been called in to support the arrivals. Beyond the hospital walls, the diplomatic machinery continues to grind. In Jerusalem, American and Israeli officials hold constant coordination calls with Doha and Cairo. Turkey, too, has taken a more active role, offering to mediate final disputes. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, one of the architects of the Trump peace plan, has called this the most delicate window yet in this entire process. Every hour counts. According to sources familiar with the deal, Hamas must provide a verified list of the hostages it intends to release, including their health condition and location. Israel, in turn, has prepared to release several hundred Palestinian detainees in phases, contingent on Hamas meeting each benchmark. The International Red Cross will oversee the transfers, with Qatari and Egyptian observers stationed at the Rafah and Kerem Shalom crossings. For the Israeli government, success here is existential. Netanyahu's political survival is now tied directly to the Trump-led ceasefire. His opponents accuse him of using the deal as a photo opportunity, while critics on the right claim he is rewarding terrorists. But Netanyahu's public message remains unwavering. Our mission is to bring every hostage home and to ensure that Hamas can never again threaten our people. At Sheba, that mission feels intensely personal. One nurse, speaking anonymously to local media, said, "We've seen them come back before, frail, quiet, afraid to speak. But we've also seen the moment their families walk in. That first hug, it's like watching the country breathe again." In the compound courtyard, ambulances wait with engines running. Helicopters stand ready to land on the hospital's rooftop pads, cleared for night operations. Military police secure the perimeter, while IDF liaison officers coordinate communication between the Defense Ministry and the Medical Command. The choreography is tight, the stakes immense. For all its precision, the plan depends on one unpredictable factor: Hamas. Intelligence officials warn that the group may delay or alter the release at the last moment, as it has done before, to extract further concessions. Others fear that some of the 47 may already be dead, their remains buried beneath Gaza's ruins. Still, the hope persists that at least a few will walk out alive. Across Israel, people follow the news obsessively. Candlelight vigils continue outside the Defense Ministry in Tel Aviv. Radio stations replay recorded messages from families. "We just want them home," one mother said through tears, clutching a picture of her son who disappeared at the Nova Music Festival. "We don't care about politics anymore. We just want them back." For President Trump, this moment could define his foreign policy legacy. After months of skepticism from allies and analysts, the ceasefire deal has, at least for now, halted the fighting and opened a corridor for humanitarian aid. Yet critics warn that without a lasting political framework, one that addresses Gaza's governance, reconstruction, and disarmament, the calm may prove fleeting. In Washington, senior officials insist the administration is fully committed to seeing the plan through. "This is not just about hostages," said a White House spokesperson. "It's about showing that diplomacy can still achieve what war cannot." As Monday's deadline approaches, the Israeli public holds its breath. Each new hour brings rumors that convoys are forming in Gaza, that Red Cross teams have moved into position, that lists have been exchanged. At Sheba, the staff stay on high alert, sleeping in shifts, waiting for the phone call that will change everything. For the families gathered nearby, hope and dread mix into something almost unrecognizable. Some have prepared homecoming banners, others mourning clothes. In the courtyard outside the hospital, a father lights a small candle and whispers a prayer. Let them come home, he says, even if only one. As night falls over Ramat Gan, the lights at Sheba burn bright. Inside, doctors and nurses review checklists one last time. Outside, cameras wait. The air hums with anticipation, the kind that comes when a country stands on the edge of history. Whatever happens in the coming days, Sheba Medical Center will be the first place where the consequences of this fragile peace will be seen. Behind its gates, Israel's deepest wounds will meet their moment of truth. One stretcher, one name, one heartbeat at a time. And as the nation waits for word from Gaza, a quiet truth endures. In this war, victory is not measured in territory or weapons, but in the lives that make it home again. For the doctors and families waiting tonight, hope is no longer just a feeling. It has become an act of endurance, a discipline of faith. Every bed here tells a story still unfinished, and soon perhaps those stories will return to the light.